Imagine this, you walk into a room, shoulders squared, head high, carrying an energy so undeniable that the air shifts around you. Conversations pause, eyes turn, not because you shouted or demanded attention, but because your presence commands it. You become someone who doesn't tolerate disrespect, not through anger or confrontation, but through the quiet power of knowing your worth and living it unapologetically. This isn't a fantasy. This is the life you can create, starting right now by deciding how you teach the world to treat you. The truth is raw and unrelenting. People don't disrespect you because of who they are. They do it because of what you allow. And today, you're going to learn how to shut that door forever. Not with force, but with clarity, consistency, and the unshakable belief that you are worthy of respect. Let's get straight to the heart of it. Every day, you're teaching the people around you how to treat you. Every time you stay silent when someone crosses a line, you're sending a message. This is okay. Every time you laugh off a cutting remark, let a friend dump their negativity on you or allow your boundaries to be trampled, you're writing a rule book that says, I'll take it. The world isn't full of mind readers. It's full of observers. People notice what you permit, what you tolerate, what you let slide, and over time, without even meaning to, they start to believe that's how you want to be treated, but you don't. You're not here to be a doormat, to shrink yourself to keep the peace, or to let others' insecurities dim your light. You're here to stand tall, to claim your space, and to live a life that reflects your worth. And it all starts with you. Disrespect doesn't show up like a flashing neon sign. It creeps in, subtle and insidious. It's the coworker who interrupts you mid-sentence, the friend who dismisses your feelings with a roll of their eyes, the family member who makes a backhanded comment disguised as a joke. At first, you let it go. You tell yourself it's not worth the fight, that you don't want to rock the boat, that maybe they didn't mean it. But every time you stay silent, you're training them that your boundaries are optional. You're telling them your worth is negotiable. And the longer you let it continue, the deeper that pattern takes root until disrespect becomes the norm in your relationships, your workplace, your life. But here's the good news. You have the power to rewrite that script. You can retrain the world to treat you with the respect you deserve. Not by demanding it, but by commanding it through your actions, your words, and the standards you hold yourself to. The first step is raising your standards, not just for others, but for yourself. This isn't about expecting people to bow at your feet or treat you like royalty. It's about deciding what you're willing to accept and what you're not, and then living that truth every single day. Standards are your internal compass, guiding you through every interaction, every decision, every moment when your worth is tested. When you don't have clear standards, you drift. You say yes when you mean no. You tolerate behavior that makes your soul ache. You let disrespect slide because you're afraid of conflict, or because you've convinced yourself it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal. Every time you let someone cross a line, you're chipping away at your own self-respect. You're teaching yourself and the world that you're okay with less than you deserve. So how do you raise your standards? Start by getting crystal clear on what's okay and what's not. Ask yourself, what kind of treatment aligns with my values? What kind of energy do I want in my life? Maybe it's refusing to engage in conversations that make you feel small. Maybe it's saying no to demands that drain your energy. Maybe it's walking away from relationships that only take and never give. Once you know your standards, the hard part begins, enforcing them. This doesn't mean yelling or arguing. It doesn't mean delivering a lecture on respect. It means quietly, consistently refusing to engage with behavior that disrespects you. When someone talks over you, pause the conversation. When someone tries to manipulate you, call it out calmly or walk away. When someone brings drama or negativity, stop giving them your time. Your power lies in what you choose to tolerate and what you don't. Consistency is key. The first time you hold a boundary, people might be shocked. They might push back, get defensive, or call you too sensitive. That's okay. That's part of the process. You're rewriting the rules they've grown used to, and change makes people uncomfortable. But their discomfort is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to protect your peace, your energy, you have to be willing to let go of people who can't meet your standards, even if it's scary. Because here's the truth, you will never find the relationships, opportunities, or life you deserve if you keep making space for those who disrespect you. You're not here to be liked by everyone. You're here to respect yourself so fiercely that only those who rise to your level get to stay in your orbit. Boundaries are not walls. They're doors with locks. Not everyone gets a key. Not everyone gets access to your time, your heart, your energy. And that's not selfish. It's essential. Boundaries are how you protect your peace, your values, your sense of self. They're the rules you set for how people are allowed to treat you. And you're the only one who can enforce them. Too many of us leave that door wide open, hoping people will magically know how to treat us. But they don't. People will test your limits. Not because they're cruel, but because it's human nature. They'll push to see how far they can go, how much you'll take. Your job isn't just to draw the line. It's to hold it. Every single time. Holding a boundary doesn't mean being cold or confrontational. It can be as simple as saying, I'm not comfortable with that, and leaving it there. It can be choosing not to respond to a text that crosses a line. It can be walking away from a conversation that feels toxic. You don't owe anyone an explanation. You don't need to justify your worth. A boundary is a complete sentence, and when you hold it consistently, something powerful happens. People learn. They learn that you're not available for disrespect. They learn that your time and energy are valuable. They either step up or step out. And either way, you will, because you're no longer wasting your life on people or situations that diminish you. Let's talk about the pushback. Because it's real. When you start setting boundaries, some people won't like it. The ones who benefited from your lack of boundaries. The ones who got used to taking without giving, to speaking without listening, to crossing lines without consequences. They'll resist the most. They might call you selfish. They might say you've changed. And you know what you have? You've decided your worth isn't up for debate. You've decided your peace is worth protecting. That's not selfishness. That's growth. And growth is uncomfortable. Not just for you, but for those who liked the old version of you. The one who let things slide. Let them be uncomfortable. Your job isn't to make everyone feel okay. It's to make sure you're okay. Healthy boundaries look different for everyone, but they all serve the same purpose. To protect your energy and honor your worth. Maybe it's deciding not to answer work emails after 7 p.m. so you can reclaim your evening. Maybe it's refusing to engage in gossip that leaves you feeling drained. Maybe it's saying no to an invitation that doesn't align with your priorities. These aren't dramatic gestures. They're acts of self-respect. Every time you enforce a boundary, you're telling the world, I value myself. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. You stop feeling guilty for saying no. You stop over-explaining your choices. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces that don't serve you. You start showing up as someone who knows their worth. And the world adjusts to meet you. Confidence is the backbone of this transformation. But let's be clear. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build, brick by brick through the choices you make. Most people think confidence comes first, that you need to feel ready before you can act. That's backward. Confidence isn't the spark. It's the flame that grows when you take action. You don't feel confident and then speak up in a meeting. You speak up, your voice shakes, your heart races, and afterward you realize, I did that, I survived. That's how confidence grows. Not through perfection, but through courage. Real confidence isn't loud or showy. It's not about having all the answers or being the most charismatic person in the room. It's a quiet knowing, a belief that you matter, that your voice deserves to be heard, that you can handle whatever comes your way. Confidence is built in the small, unseen moments. When you keep a promise to yourself, when you say no to something that doesn't align with your values, when you choose to show up even when you're scared. Every time you honor your standards, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your self-belief. Every time you hold a boundary, you're proving to yourself that you can trust yourself. And that trust, that's the root of true confidence. You can't build confidence if you're constantly betraying yourself. If you let people walk over you, silence your voice, or shrink to make others comfortable, you're sending a message to your own heart. I don't matter. That's not confidence. That's survival. And survival mode will drain you dry. The shift happens when you stop outsourcing your worth, when you stop waiting for someone else to validate you, when you decide that you can handle disappointment, rejection, or conflict, and still stand tall. Confidence is choosing yourself over people pleasing. It's choosing action over fear. It's choosing courage over comfort. And every time you make that choice, you grow stronger, more grounded, more unshakable. The power of the pause is your secret weapon in this journey. Disrespect often catches you off guard. A snide comment, an interruption, a dismissive glance. In that moment, your emotions surge. You want to snap, to defend, to freeze. But there's power in the pause. When you take a breath, just a few seconds, you shift from reacting to responding. You reclaim control. The pause isn't weakness. It's strength. It's you saying, I'm in charge of how I handle this. It's you refusing to let someone else's behavior dictate your energy. Imagine you're in a meeting, and someone cuts you off mid-sentence. Your heart races. Your face flushes. Your instinct is to shrink or snap. Instead, pause, breathe, then say calmly, I wasn't finished speaking. That simple act, pausing before responding, changes the dynamic. It shows you're not rattled, that you're grounded, that your voice matters. The pause works in every situation. A friend's passive-aggressive jab, pause before you engage. A boss's unfair criticism, pause before you internalize it. The pause gives you space to choose your response, to align with your values, to show up as the best version of yourself. This takes practice. We live in a world that demands instant reactions. Texts, emails, social media, all pushing you to respond on autopilot. But you don't have to play that game. The pause lets you step off the hamster wheel and choose intention over impulse. It's not about suppressing your emotions. It's about channeling them effectively. It's about refusing to let someone else's chaos pull you into theirs. When you pause, you're not just protecting your peace. You're teaching others that you're not easily shaken. They may not say it, but they feel it. Your silence isn't weakness. It's presence. Your pause isn't passivity. It's power. Your words are another tool in this arsenal. The way you speak about yourself to others in your own head sets the tone for how the world treats you. If you downplay your strength, make self-deprecating jokes, or preface your thoughts with "this might sound stupid," you're telling people not to take you seriously, and they won't. Your language shapes your reality. If you speak with hesitation, you invite doubt. If you speak with conviction, you command respect. You don't need to be loud or aggressive, just clear, just certain. Pay attention to how you talk. When someone compliments you, don't brush it off with "it was nothing," or "I got lucky." Say thank you. I worked hard for that. Own your effort. When you share an idea, don't undermine it with "this might not make sense," but say "here's what I think." Stand by your insight. Your words deserve space, and it's not just what you say to others. It's what you say to yourself. The conversations in your head are the loudest voice you'll ever hear. If you're constantly telling yourself, I'm not good enough, I always mess up, or they're better than me, that becomes your truth. Rewrite the script. Change "I can't," "I'm learning." Change "I'm not good at this" to "I'm getting better every day." Change "they're ahead of me" to "my journey is mine, and I'm moving forward." These aren't just words. They're tools to reshape your mindset, and a strong mindset speaks louder than any title or credential. Silence speaks too. If you stay quiet when your boundaries are crossed, when your values are questioned, when your worth is dismissed, you're sending a message that your voice doesn't matter. It does. You don't need perfect words, just honest ones. Speak with intention. Say "that's not okay with me," or "I need to be heard." Your voice is one of the most powerful forms of self-leadership you have. When you use it with clarity and purpose, you give the world a blueprint for how to treat you. You show them you're not to be underestimated, not to be talked over, not to be dismissed. And when you speak like someone who knows their worth, disrespect starts to lose its grip. Your circle, the people you surround yourself with, shapes your reality. They influence how you think, how you act, how you see yourself. If you're spending your time with people who interrupt you, dismiss your ideas, or make you feel small, it's not just draining, it's distorting. It makes you question your worth. It normalizes disrespect. The people in your life are either lifting you up or pulling you down. There's no middle ground. Every interaction leaves a mark, planting seeds of confidence or sowing doubts. Ask yourself, do the people around me celebrate my growth or resent it? Do they listen when I speak or talk over me? Do they respect my boundaries or push past them? Your circle is either validating your greatness or reinforcing your insecurities. Audit your circle like your future depends on it, because it does. If someone's energy feels off, if you leave their presence feeling smaller, it doesn't mean they're bad people. It means they might not belong in the life you're building. Be intentional about who gets your time, your energy, your heart. Stop chasing people who make you question your worth. Stop pouring into relationships that never pour back. Stop confusing history with compatibility. Just because someone's been in your life forever doesn't mean they're meant for your future. When you surround yourself with people who challenge you, without belittling you, who hold you accountable without tearing you down, who believe in your vision even when it's messy, you start to rise. You start to mirror their energy. Confident, kind, focused, respect. And that's when disrespect starts to fade. Not because it's gone from the world, but because it can't survive in your space. Raising your standards is the foundation of all of this. Standards aren't rules you impose on others. They're the expectations you hold for yourself. They define how you show up, how you treat your body, how you spend your time, how you let others engage with you. When your standards are low, you drift. You say yes to things that feel wrong. You tolerate behavior that erodes your peace. You accept crumbs and call it a feast. But when you raise your standards, everything shifts. You stop over-explaining. You stop compromising on what matters. You stop making room for chaos or disrespect. You start creating a life where your peace is sacred, your time is valued, and your worth is non-negotiable. This isn't easy. Raising your standards means breaking old patterns. Maybe you grew up in a home where speaking up was seen as defiance. Maybe you've been in relationships where your needs were ignored. Maybe you've worked in environments where boundaries were punished. When you start saying, "This isn't okay with me," it feels risky. It feels foreign, but it's necessary. You cannot grow into your fullest self in a space where your standards are constantly compromised. Every time you honor your standards, whether it's keeping a promise to yourself, saying no to a draining commitment, or walking away from a toxic dynamic, you're reinforcing the message that you are someone who deserves respect. And when you take yourself seriously, the world follows. Your standards show up in the smallest moments. It's choosing to prioritize your health over mindless scrolling. It's following through on a goal, even when no one's watching. It's speaking to yourself with kindness instead of criticism. It's refusing to engage with people who only bring drama. These choices, day after day, build a life where disrespect can't take root. People sense when you carry yourself differently. They feel your clarity, your purpose, your quiet confidence. They adjust, not because you demanded it, but because your presence sets the tone. Let's be clear. You don't get what you want. You get what you tolerate. When you tolerate disrespect, you invite more of it. When you tolerate low standards, you live a life that reflects them. But when you decide that your time, your energy, and your worth are non-negotiable, the world has no choice but to meet you there. You don't need to demand respect. You command it by how you live, by the boundaries you set, by the words you speak, by the people you choose to keep close, by the standards you hold yourself to. This is your call to action. Tomorrow, when you wake up, decide that you're done tolerating disrespect. Decide that your peace is worth protecting, that your voice deserves to be heard, that your worth is not up for debate. Set a boundary, even if it's small. Pause before you react to a slight. Speak with conviction, even if your voice shakes. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, not pull you down. Raise your standards, not just for others, but for yourself. Because when you live like someone who knows their worth, disrespect doesn't stand a chance. You become untouchable, not because you're perfect, but because you've decided you're enough. And that's a power no one can take away. So rise up, claim your space, live your standard. The world is watching, and it's time to teach it how to treat you. You've got this. Now go make it happen.